Empathy is...
My definition of empathy.
My definition, wow. That is a hard one.
Oh, man. I hope other people have struggled with this too.
Oof. The definition of empathy.
Oh boy.
Empathy.
Empathy for me is a sense of giving.
Giving yourself fully to someone else's experiences.
Giving up something of yourself in order to take in
someone else's depth and beauty.
For the benefit of others, but it's for ourselves too.
Empathy is belonging.
The exchanging of a person's mind, body, and spirit.
I don't even know how to say it in words. It's more of a feeling.
I see it, and when I see it, I have very specific feeling.
You're in an air-conditioned apartment, and you can feel the heat of somebody who's out sweating in the sun.
If someone's down in a hole, you're not at the top of the hole saying, oh, it looks dark down there, eating a sandwich.
Only through taking on another perspective and taking on another emotion that you can actually affect action and change in the world.
Empathy is being human.
Well, the story exchange is best put like this. I'm going to become you, you're going to become me.
A story exchange is this really magical thing.
When you have a partner and you share a story with each other.
And it can be funny, it can be tragic.
It's usually a story that has some vulnerability.
To tell somebody else's story, it was, to me, one of the most incredible experiences.
It can be comical.
It's a little bit scary at first.
Felt like a lot of responsibility.
A story can be a fragile thing.
It's like you have to give a part of like your life to someone else, but like you still own it, but so do they.
It's sacred, you know?
The beauty of the story exchange is that for a brief moment, you are not yourself.
I felt like I was telling his story through his skin.
It's a new part of your identity that you now understand.
Learning about someone else's story deepened the meaning of mine.
You learn so much more when you're telling that story. It felt like a true gift.
There's so much to be gained from listening.
I love listening to other people's stories.
It's where you get to bond.
Hearing someone else tell your story is very weird.
I was nervous hearing someone else talk about me.
It was kind of hard giving out that story because it was the first time I kind of told a group of people.
I told one about being bullied, and when they started telling my story, I kept looking at them like, why would they even care what other people think?
I told a story about a fight that I'd had with my father.
And it was somewhat surreal, right, to hear my story, my personal experience in the voice of someone else.
She told it nicely.
When I got the story back, it was very different.
And it took me a second to be like, wait, that's my story.
It made me realize how wrong I had been.
You know, and sort of like unburdening yourself a little bit by having somebody else tell your story.
You get to see yourself through a different lens.
I feel like I have a lot of confidence to tell my story to other people now.
I was really proud to tell her story.
We connected.
A spiritual connection.
My listening has gotten so much better since I did the first story exchange.
Change is enacted not from like large down, but from like small up.
It brings it from me, to think about myself, to you.
Through the exchange of story, they would realize they have more in common with each other than they might think at first.
The idea of empathy and the move toward a more empathetic civilization is probably my overarching issue.
I did a story exchange in my school, but I would love to continue that and bring it to all of the English classes in school so every student has the opportunity to participate in a story exchange.
I want to tap those stories. I hunger for those stories.
I really see it as a tool for prevention.
A story can define you, and sometimes you don't get to decide what your story is.
I think it's essential for me to learn how to connect with anyone on the street because anyone on the street could be my patient one day.
I want to bring the story exchange and radical empathy back to my community.
Then the people in my community can spread it as well to the people that they know.
And encouraging everyone to do what they want to do because they can do it.
I think all of us who are associated with Narrative 4 bear witness.
Humane, it's add an E to human, and that's what we all strive to be, and part of that is you have to have empathy.
And storytelling is a way to better understand ourselves and, more importantly, better understand each other.
We all have this shared humanity.
Because I believe that stories are the one thing that really unite us.
We get people to move towards kinship, period.